Lieutenant Commander Dave Hargrove's scouting missions on Titan usually involved boredom, frostbite, and the occasional dubious fart-scented whiff of methane from the moon's smoggy atmosphere. It was not the place where one expected excitement, let alone life-altering drama. Yet as Dave scanned the frozen orange landscape from the cockpit of his multi-legged terrain rover, his routine scouting mission took a hard left turn into, "What the hell is going on? It better not be one of those mole rat creatures. I hate dealing with those oversized bastards." Which was a local fauna, roughly the size of a earth elephant. Not something you want to be playing with. Oh, and did I mention the fact that they are also cannibals eating each other, so a little human would look like quite a tasty snack? The source of his confusion stood about 20 feet away, a group of 4 figures, slightly hunched, swaying like they were about to keel over. They looked human, almost. But Dave knew better. The helmets of their battered survival suits shimmered faintly under Titan's dim sunlight, and their movements were ever so slightly off, like they were trying out new bodies and hadn't read the manual. Dave keyed his comms. Control. I think we've got, survivors? They look like humans, but something's weird." A crackle of static and a bored reply came back. "We don't have any missing humans on Titan. Probably a mirage, or, hallucinations. Do you need a mental health day, Hargrove?" Ignoring the sarcasm, Dave approached cautiously. He was a practical man, but the universe was anything but. And if there was one thing he'd learned, it was that trouble often wore the face of something familiar. "Hey!" he called through his suit's external speakers. "You, need help?" The tallest figure stumbled forward, clutching what looked like a child wrapped in an oversized thermal blanket. When it spoke, its voice was distorted, almost musical, like the sound of a harp being strangled. "Please, help us, my children." "Yeah, okay," Dave said, holding up a hand. "No need to beg. Let's get you warmed up before you turn into Titan popsicles." Once inside the rover, Dave got a better look at his unexpected guests. The mother, a tall, willowy figure with striking features, unwrapped the children. They looked human at first glance, but tiny details gave them away. The mother's eyes had a faint, luminescent sheen. The children's fingers were just a bit too long, and their skin had a texture that caught the light like fine silk. "You're not human, are you?" Dave asked, handing out emergency thermal packs. The mother hesitated before nodding. "No, we are from what you call Z-Trax 5. My mate, he abandoned us here, left us for dead after a failed mission." Her voice wavered. "My children, they need warmth, sustenance." Dave sighed. "Of course you're aliens, and of course you're in trouble. Can't anything in this galaxy just be simple?" The eldest child, a boy who looked about 8 years old but with an unnervingly wise gaze, piped up. "Are you going to eat us?" "Eat you?" Dave blinked. "What kind of horror shows has your dad been showing you? No, kid. I'm the good guy. I help people, even if they're—" He gestured vaguely. "Not technically people." The boy relaxed, but only slightly. "Good, because Mom says humans are unpredictable." The mother shot her son a look that could have melted titanium. "What my son means is, thank you for helping us." By the time Dave got them back to the temporary research base, he had a new problem. The mother, whose name was something unpronounceable, but who agreed to go by Tara for simplicity's sake, had developed a worrying attachment to him. "You saved my children," Tara said, her glowing eyes locking onto Dave's. "You are brave, strong, responsible." Thanks," Dave said, fiddling with the controls of the rover. "In Zetraxian culture, a male who protects offspring is highly desirable. I would like you to assume the role of father to my children, and of course, Be my mate." Dave nearly choked on his coffee. Whoa, 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 hold up. I just met you. This is moving a little fast, don't you think?" Tara tilted her head, confused. "Do human males not appreciate efficiency? My previous mate was very efficient. Ruthless, but efficient." "Well, I'm not your average human male. I barely have the wits of a koala bear," Dave muttered. Still, as the day wore on, Dave found himself warming to the idea. Tara was, well, stunning in an alien sort of way. The kids were eerily well behaved, and Dave had always wanted a family, though he hadn't pictured it involving extraterrestrials. The real challenge, however, was sneaking them past his corporate overlords at EtherCorp. If his bosses found out he was harboring aliens, they'd either throw him in a corporate prison or dissect Tara and the kids for science. Dave's opportunity came when his leave request was approved. He was due to return to Earth in a week. It was the perfect timing to smuggle Tara and her kids aboard the transport ship. But first, he needed a story. "They're lost colonists," he told his boss, a balding middle-aged man named Stenson, during a hastily arranged meeting. "You remember the Prosperity mission, right? The one that vanished 3 years ago?" Stenson frowned. "Yeah, but the whole crew died. No survivors." "Not according to them," Dave said, jerking a thumb toward the family, who were huddled in the corner of the room, looking appropriately traumatized. "They've been surviving out there all this time. Barely. It's a miracle they made it. Can you even imagine what terror they have been through?" Stenson squinted at the group. "They look odd." "They've been through hell. If you don't want a PR nightmare, then this is a better way to keep it low-key," Dave said quickly. "Malnutrition, radiation exposure, probably some weird genetic mutations from Titan's environment. You want to be the guy who tells the PR team you refuse to rescue survivors?" That did it. No corporate drone wanted to be on the wrong side of a PR nightmare. "Fine," Stenson grumbled, "but you're responsible for them, you hear me? Any trouble, and it's your head. I don't want this blowing back on us. We don't need any more bad press, you hear me?" Dave saluted. "Understood, sir. You won't regret it." The journey back to Earth was surprisingly smooth. Tara and the kids kept a low profile, and Dave spent most of the trip concocting plans for their new life together. "Are you sure this will work? I have concerns," Tara asked one evening as they sat in the dimly lit cabin. "Absolutely," Dave said, though he wasn't entirely sure. "Once we're on Earth, you'll blend right in. People will think you're just a quirky family. I'll tell them you're from Canada or something. Nobody questions Canadians." "Canada," Tara repeated, as if committing it to memory. The kids, meanwhile, were thrilled at the idea of Earth. "Is it true there's a place where you can eat endless pancakes?" the youngest asked, her eyes wide. "It's called a diner," Dave said, grinning. "And yes, it's real." Back on Earth, Dave's plan worked like a charm. He introduced Tara and the kids as survivors of a long-lost colonist mission, and his neighbors bought the story without question. Tara adjusted surprisingly well to human life, though she had a tendency to intimidate door-to-door salespeople with her glowing eyes. The kids excelled in school, thanks to their advanced intellects, though they occasionally freaked out their classmates by bending spoons with their minds. As for Dave, he found himself enjoying the chaos of his new family. Sure, there were moments when he wondered if he'd made a terrible mistake, like the time Tara accidentally vaporized his favorite coffee mug in a fit of frustration, but overall, life was good. One evening, as they sat around the dinner table eating pancakes, because why not, Tara looked at Dave and smiled. "You are a good father," she said. Dave chuckled. "Not bad for a guy who started his week chasing methane clouds on Titan, huh?" And for the first time in years, Dave felt like he'd finally found his place in the universe. The end.